Good morning, Kia ora. A ray of sunshine am I this morning? I am actually. I'm in a really good headspace. Yeah, I woke up quite early, went for a bit of exercise, and I've been reflecting on what we're going to talk about today. And then it suddenly came to me while I was on my walk. This weekend, I found myself, I don't know, beating myself up. Negative self-talk. Wow. We all do it, yeah? But when I'm under pressure, that's one of the places my mind goes. And I was thinking about you listeners and thinking about all of us, yeah? How hard we can be on ourselves when we think that we should be doing better. And one of the ways I think we first notice is this. I think it was yesterday morning, Sunday morning, about 10 o'clock. I was in the bathroom actually cleaning the shower. And I walked past the glass, the mirror in the bathroom, and I saw that my shoulders were basically pinned to my earlobes. They were so high and tense. And then I took a step back and I thought all the time I was in there scrubbing that shower, all the talk that was in my head was that I wasn't good enough, that I'm always slack, I should be working hard. Do you know what I mean? It was extraordinary when I just stopped and listened to myself. And I think under these challenging times when we're physically, locked in with a lot of people that we might love, but we don't like all the time, certainly as parents and, the language we were using all week, leaders of family, how hard it is sometimes when we start beating ourselves up. And I find that I use words that in normal to myself are much harsher than I normally would. Like words like I'm always like whatever it is I'm criticizing and I never do anything good. And I just thought it might be useful today for us all to just stop for a minute and actually focus on what we're doing right and what is working. Because I find it hard to believe that even if it's just a little pinch of sunshine, that there is something good happening in every single family's life. Every single group and every bubble will have positive things that are happening. What about you two? Do you find yourself doing that, or am I just crazy in the corner on my own?
It's a real thing. We're all, every now and then, especially times in conflict, in times of distress, the inner saboteur easily comes to the forefront and starts to question your decisions, your direction. And no, it's a very real thing that people need to deal with. And for myself anyway.
There's enough pressure out there, isn't there, without undermining yourself. There's enough real challenges without unraveling yourself. But what I'm trying to say is that, equally, I was listening to Nigel a little bit earlier on the radio, and one of the other things I did this weekend was, normally whenever I do anything in the media, I do it and then that's it. The TV shows, everything I've ever done, I never watch them. It's like I'm in the moment, I do it, and I've got no interest in reviewing them. However, this weekend, my husband was editing some of the interviews that I'd done with you, and I kind of overheard bits of them. And I had this huge fear. I wasn't listening to it and thinking anything positive. All that went on in my head was, what if everybody thinks that I'm doing all of these things perfectly? What if I'm not being genuine? What if I'm not being what people need me to be? And then I started spinning out of control in my own head. Now, if we relate that to all of us, let's just say being a parent, you're setting up the process, you're trying to do a routine, you're trying to literally feed people and keep them safe and do the fundamentals. And yet you're still unraveling yourself that I'm not doing this well enough, that I'm not good enough, that I always mess up, and what made me ever think I was ever going to be able to do this. But I think the word I use, you called it self-saboteur, I call it my gremlin. And I think we all need to take stock and turn round and face our gremlin face to face. I can't repeat the language I used to my gremlin yesterday afternoon, but it was bleep, bleep, bleep language. And I just basically told my gremlin to shut up and go away, that he wasn't adding anything at the moment, and I didn't need to hear that. Thank you very much. Yeah, did it in much more colourful language. So, challenge a gremlin. Turn around and just And the other technique is to put it in a box. Imagine that you're putting all of this negativity in a box and put a bigger lock on it. When I worked with adolescents, certainly the criminal justice, when they would catastrophize in their minds, everything was forever and ever and ever and ever, and it was never going to get right. That was one technique that we used to use, or I used a lot, was getting people to take those negative thoughts and put them in a big box, a big padlock on them, and just move them to one side to keep yourself safe. And okay, let me round up everything I'm saying to you. Can we all remember to do this one day at a time? If anything more is possible. So we've got no control, have we? We've just got to do what we can do today. And if we can get to the end of the day and put our head on the pillow and we're still in one piece, results, that is success. That's what you're doing right. Those are the positives.
Yeah, my hope is that at the end of these 4 weeks, because it takes a brave person to be able to really be honest with yourself and to recognize when your inner saboteur is trying to sabotage your day and make you think in those negative spaces. But I'm optimistic that at the end of these 4 weeks, people are mentally going to be more prepared to be able to deal with darkness. Because, you know, it is a very real space for me. You know me. You've been my professional go-to person when when that saboteur starts to come out.
Yeah.
And really the trick is to be brave enough to recognize when you are vulnerable, because that's what it is. It's about vulnerability.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to what we were talking about last week, it's vulnerability and leadership. And okay, you can get on Google and they'll tell you thousands of different ways about how to be good leaders. And it's all really focused on people who are running companies, countries, and big organizations, whereas my absolute honest philosophy is that every human being is a leader. Every single one of us is. We lead our own lives. Yeah, there's a reason why I think of in those terms. And you're absolutely right, no, Doctor. There are opportunities here for self-learning, but you have to be so brave to be able to do that. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not some light and airy-fairy, I'm going to learn about myself and how I function. I've got to be really honest, it's a really tough thing to do. But that is what really makes the major difference to the quality of people's lives. And there's so much learning to do now, so much learning. And opportunity. There is a lot. I mean, again, I was listening to Nigel and you chatting about, that maybe we're going to have a better world. Maybe New Zealand will come out of this better. I'm going to go a step further and say there's absolutely no maybe. We will. We will. Through every adversity that history and every individual has. If we're lucky enough to still be alive out of any adversity, that old saying, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, it absolutely does. But you have to be brave enough to learn and look at yourself first. What is it you can do to make the world? What is it you've learned about yourself? In a positive way, yeah? I'm sure there are many, many, many moms and dads and carers listening to this and thinking, I never thought I could have survived this long, but I've done it. And I've learned, and I'm learning new techniques, and I'm learning ways of doing things. It is about lifting your face to the sunshine sometimes, that it's so easy to knock ourselves. So today I want everybody to be a bit of a sunflower. Lift your face to the sun, because we're lucky enough to have it. And just for a few minutes, just stand there and make a list in your head and think about the positive things that you've done and achieved, because there will be many, many more than the negative.
Great advice there, Sian.